Hello everyone, and welcome to my BTG official channel. Bill Davenport stood at the edge of the old garden, where the roses had long turned black from neglect. His trembling hands clutched the amulet Pamela had given him years ago, back when love had been their shared language and not a battlefield. The storm reflected the turmoil in his soul, every flash of lightning, a memory of betrayal, every crack of thunder, a voice from his past. Pamela's voice. Pamela Crowe had always been a woman of mystery, beautiful, cunning, and dangerously connected to forces no one dared to speak of. When Bill broke her heart to marry Hayley, her vengeance was quiet, almost poetic. She didn't scream. She didn't beg. She simply smiled that haunting smile, touched his cheek, and whispered words that made the air freeze around them. "You'll never truly be free of me, Bill Davenport. You'll live, but not your own life." From that night, Bill's life began to unravel in ways that defied explanation. At first, it was subtle. He'd wake up with bruises he couldn't remember getting. His reflection in the mirror would flicker for a split second, showing someone older, someone broken. Then the dreams came, visions of Pamela standing in the shadows, her eyes glowing faintly, her voice echoing through the walls of his mind. "You belong to me, even if she owns your name." Hayley Davenport, his wife, had no idea what had really happened between Bill and Pamela. But she sensed something dark and restless growing in the man she thought she knew. Hayley was not the type to lose control. She had built her life, her reputation, and her marriage on order, power, and perfection. The idea that her husband might be slipping through her fingers terrified her. So, she did what Hayley always did, she tightened her grip. "Bill, you need structure," she would say, her tone sharp but smooth like polished glass. "You can't just disappear into your moods. I'm not going to let you ruin everything we've built." Her words were meant to help, but to Bill, they felt like chains. Hayley managed every aspect of his existence, the business, his friends, his wardrobe, even his meals. He was a man living in a cage lined with luxury, suffocating under her constant supervision. And yet, deep down, Hayley believed she was saving him. She didn't realize that the more she tried to control him, the more she was feeding Pamela's curse. Pamela's spell wasn't meant to kill him, it was meant to keep him trapped. To drain his will, to make him a shell of the man he once was, until every choice he made was guided by someone else's hand. And Hayley, unknowingly, became the vessel through which the curse thrived. Every time she dictated his life, every time she spoke for him or made him doubt his own decisions, Pamela's spirit smiled in the dark. The turning point came the night of the winter gala at Davenport Manor. The entire town was there, Andre, Dani, Vanessa, Derek, even the elusive Joey lurking in the background with that knowing smirk. Hayley was dazzling in silver silk, her arm linked tightly with Bill's as if to remind everyone, and him, that he was hers. But Bill's mind was a storm. The chandelier lights blurred, the music warped, and in the reflection of the ballroom mirror, he saw her again. Pamela. Standing behind Hayley, whispering in her ear. "Tell him what to do," the reflection murmured. "He can't think for himself. Guide him, Hayley. Own him." Bill's glass shattered in his hand. The room froze. Hayley's perfect smile faltered for the first time in years. "Bill," she whispered, gripping his arm. "What's wrong with you?" He looked around, confused, terrified. "She's here," he said hoarsely. "Pamela. She's here." The guests exchanged uneasy glances. Hayley felt the heat of embarrassment rise in her cheeks. In a voice barely hiding her fury, she hissed, "You're imagining things. We'll talk about this later. Don't make a scene." But Bill couldn't stop shaking. Pamela's laughter echoed faintly through the chandelier crystals, a melody only he could hear. That night, Hayley dragged him home, locked the doors, and demanded answers. "You've been distant for months, Bill. Do you even know how humiliating it is for me to watch you fall apart in front of everyone? You need help. You need me." "I don't need control, Hayley," he shouted back, his voice breaking. "I need freedom. You don't understand, Pamela did something to me. I can feel her in this house, in my head. Hayley scoffed, crossing her arms. Pamela is gone. Dead and buried. And whatever fantasy you're clinging to ends tonight. But at that very moment, the lights flickered. A cold wind blew through the sealed windows. The piano in the corner played 3 soft, haunting notes by itself. Both of them froze. And then, from the mirror over the mantel, Pamela's reflection smiled. "Did you miss me?" Hayley screamed. The glass cracked, shattering her illusion of control. Bill fell to his knees, clutching his head as Pamela's voice filled the room. "You tried to replace me, Hayley. But you only became my instrument. Every command you gave, every rule you made, it was my will flowing through you." Hayley's face went pale. She shook her head, refusing to believe what she saw. "You're a ghost. You can't control me." But Pamela's reflection only tilted its head. "Can't I?" The next morning, Hayley found herself standing in the garden with dirt on her hands and no memory of how she got there. Bill was gone. The only thing left was the amulet lying in the soil, glowing faintly in the dawn light. She tried to call for him, but her voice cracked, and for the first time, Hayley realized she wasn't in control anymore. Something inside her had changed. Something had entered her. Days passed, then weeks. Bill was seen wandering near the cliffs outside town, his eyes distant, his movements slow and strange, as though he were being led by invisible strings. Hayley searched for him obsessively, convinced she could bring him back, convinced she could fix what Pamela had broken. But every time she found him, he seemed less alive. He would stare at her with vacant eyes and whisper, "She's inside you now. She doesn't need me anymore." Meanwhile, rumors began to spread across town. Vanessa swore she'd seen Hayley talking to herself in the garden late at night. Andre claimed he heard chanting coming from the old Davenport greenhouse. Derek, ever curious, started digging into Pamela's past, and discovered something chilling. Pamela Crowe had been part of a secret circle, a coven of women who practiced something between magic and manipulation. Their motto was simple: love is power, and power must never be shared. Hayley's control grew more erratic. She became paranoid, forbidding anyone from entering the estate. The staff quit one by one, terrified of her sudden mood swings and unexplained bursts of rage. One night, Vanessa dared to confront her, storming into the manor demanding answers. "Where's Bill, Hayley? What have you done to him?" Hayley's eyes were glassy, her tone eerily calm. "He's free now." Pamela wanted that. She said he had to suffer first to be released. Vanessa took a step back. "Pamela's dead." "You're not making sense." Hayley smiled faintly. "Dead? No.